Hello everybody, I'm Dash Brandon. Welcome back to Dungeon Defenders Awakened. Today we have a few tips that I'd like to share with new players because I myself was very new to this series a week ago and I feel like I've learned a lot. I watched some other people's videos and there's some stuff that's just kind of overlooked and people just assume that there really aren't that many new players joining the game, and I really hope that there are actually a whole lot of new players joining this game like myself so that we can learn and we can grow and we can take on that super hard content that's coming up. Right now the game is 12 levels and you get what is it, 4 difficulties. You get easy, medium, hard, and insane currently. And that leads me into my first point that I would like to make. My first tip for the new players. Look at him. He's not doing anything because he's blinded. My first tip is that you should do the highest map that you're capable of soloing, even if you're in a public lobby. That's because you might get people that are below your skill level or below your itemization or just below you in ability. So you want to be able to carry your own game, at least during the campaign, which for me I started on easy. No, I started on normal. Then I moved on to hard, and now I'm able to do insane on pretty much every map, I believe. My stats are there. We've made it. We've arrived at insane campaign. And leading into that is stay out of survival. If you're under, I'd say probably under level 60, you're not going to gain very many levels and you're not going to be incredibly helpful to your team if you're doing it with a bunch of randoms. Unless you're just going to be the repair bot, and which is fine. I mean, I've been that. I still end up as that role occasionally because there are people that are able to play way more than I'm able to play, which is fine. Just know what you're getting into when you go into survival. You're going to be with endgame players that are trying to farm the hardest content that they can so they can get the best gear that they can. And the higher the stages that they do that, the longer it takes. No matter how good your skills are, there's just like, you get 2,000 enemies on a single wave, and it takes a while to kill all those enemies. And they also send them to you a little bit at a time, so it just takes a long time to complete. So a normal survival, to get to wave 25, which is the last wave of survival right now, I'm not sure if there's going to be more, can take approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours, 2 hours, depending on what level and what map you're doing. So make sure that you're only doing survival if you're around level 60 and you're ready for it. Be sure that you can contribute to your team, communicate with your team, tell them, you know, I'm level blah blah blah, this is my DPS, this is what I can help with, and they will probably keep you around and just let you sit there and farm gear, because in survival, that's where you're going to get your legendary gear. I would show you right now, but you can't look at your inventory on here on the map. That's where you're going to get your legendary gear, and that's where you're going to be getting your pets at level 15 and level 25. Then you get your pets, which are very helpful. I'm farming this map here so I can try and get the propeller cat so that my DPS hero will be able to do more damage. Not my tower hero, my DPS hero. And that's another thing. You can build two of the same hero for different tasks. You could have 2 huntresses, one spec'd for traps, and the other spec'd to deal the damage. Though it's largely a consensus of the community right now that the best damage comes from the apprentice, because he gets to shoot fast, and he shoots multiple bolts of everything, and he's just one of the best DPS right now. No matter what you have equipped. Another thing, we still can't show you, is that you want to be upgrading your gear. I've been a little stingy on upgrading my gear, so my stats aren't where they could be. I've been trying to get better legendary gear simply by doing survivals and picking it up, but you can also upgrade the power of your gear and make it more powerful and therefore give yourself more stats. And you do that on a stat by stat basis. I'll show you here in just a minute. But if you do your weapon on your DPS hero, you can do the weapon damage, you can do the rate of fire, and you can really boost your damage. This hero was doing about 3,500 DPS before I started to mess with her weapon, and now she's around 10k, which is still incredibly low, don't get me wrong. But the weapon started out as like a 550 or 600 power weapon, and through the upgrades, it's level 18 out of 31 now, and it's power 818. To upgrade, you would right click it, and you would upgrade whichever stat you wanted. So for me, I upgraded the range damage, and then I upgraded reload, and I upgraded fire rate as much as I could. A lot of times you'll have to drop some gold into one of these, like there go 1, 2, 3 points, which is going to cost me 880,000 gold, which isn't too big of a deal. But then I can go into reload speed, or I could go into clip size if I wanted to do that. Projectile speed makes your bullets actually go faster, so they're easier to hit your target. And you can do this with your armor, you can do this with your masks, and you can do this with your pets. We're using the hand right now on my damage hero because I thought it would be good for her to auto repair things, and it really just doesn't seem to work that quickly. So I'm looking forward to getting a propeller cat, and hopefully we can get that during this run, but not necessarily during this video. I don't have that many tips. I don't have enough tips to last us to wave 15 when we're only on wave 7. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start the next wave here. One thing you need to be careful about is when you start getting the like little ninja dark elves, you do not want to be near your core. You want to be standing in the middle of your traps here, and that's so that they get DPS down quickly. They can kill you quickly, and then they'll go directly for your core and mess up your core real fast, and that's a good way to end your survival a little bit prematurely. Also, since we're in survival, we can go ahead and just upgrade all this stuff as much as we can, because we want to be able to start AFKing this as soon as we can. We'll be able to AFK this build right about here, and the darkness trap is going to trigger, and the ninja boys won't be able to kill us. They'll get DPS down by everything else that we have in the area. And it should be real great. I'm pretty excited for this build. I tweaked it from a build that I have been working on and other builds that I've seen online while playing the game, and yeah, that leads me to a whole nother point. Don't ignore any of your starting characters. Alright, so for me, the Squire was like, number one thing I still use the Squire for is for the fortitude on these big boy shields right here that we have right here. That's 20k on the level 1 shield. Now it's 24k. That's pretty healthy. I've seen other players' shields go up to like 45,000 HP. They get pretty tanky, which is great. You definitely want that, especially when these dynamite boys actually start landing their hits. That's real bad when that happens. So don't ignore anyone. The Huntress gets really good play on some maps that have nice funnels. This map could be really good for her. I haven't tried to do it with mostly just Huntress DPS, so I'm sure we could give it a shot at some point. She gets really good value for her traps, and the more you scale up her damage and the more that her traps can trigger and go off, the better she gets. So she's insane on some maps. Just the other night I was doing the promenade with her, and it was crazy. That it was basically just Huntress traps and a couple of the Squire shields to block everything off. And that was it. That was all we needed. It was great. Loved it. Just gonna do some quick leveling up here. We should be getting the Dark Elves soon. I did want to be able to show them during this video at some point. once you're level 60, I mean, everyone should know by now that the best place to level is the summit on Insane. If you find public lobbies, there's always public lobbies of it going on. There's people just grinding the heck out of it, getting crazy amounts of XP. You get like 680,000 XP at a time. So there's one of our Dark Elf boys up there. He's gonna give us some trouble, or at least he thinks he's gonna give us some trouble. We're gonna upgrade a lot of the traps that are gonna be near him, or them. There's probably gonna be a couple of them. Then we're gonna go ahead and let it fly. Look at that, we picked up a bracer. And look at that, the Dark Elves are dead. They died very quickly, and once they triggered the darkness trap, they just ignored me. So this right here is a great place to AFK. I think the ogres will ignore me here. We'll see in a moment here. But even if the ogre doesn't ignore me, he'll kill me. Then he'll go over here and get DPS down, and it'll be great. Oh, there's a Dark Elf. And he's dead. He's real dead. Make sure you're healing with X. If you can't tank the Dark Elves for some reason, if you're not in a darkness trap, or you're not disabling them in some way, be very mobile, but make sure to stay in range of your towers. That's how you're going to be able to get through them and deal with them. Look at him, he's kneeling and he's dead. He didn't even get to do anything. Alright, so we've got an ogre here. We're going to stand right here, see if he goes for us. He's blinded by the darkness trap, and now he's stuck here. So we can just go ahead and safely DPS him. Go ahead and pop our ability so we can damage him even faster. The darkness trap makes him ignore us again. This is a really good build. I like this build. I think if my stats were there, I might be able to go all the way with this build. But my stats aren't there yet. I'm still working on it. Alright? Still getting there. I can repair some of this stuff. Like my Huntress is, I don't have two Huntresses right now. I have this Huntress, and she's kind of hybrid built. She's a bit of a hybrid of a DPS and a builder, because I like the traps all of a sudden. They're really good. So I want to use them. Nothing good here to pick up. Purples aren't worth keeping for us right now. We just sell them, and we get all of that money back. As you get into the later waves, you get a lot more of these dynamite boys right here, and you're going to want to make sure that your shields, or whatever you have blocking your walls, are very tanky. Very tanky. We might actually make it in this video. I'm not sure. I think we can do it. As I said, once you're 60, we talked about the summit being the best thing. If you can't do the summit, do the best or the highest stage you can on the hardest difficulty you can, is the best way to put it. If you can only do the summit on hard, then do the summit on hard until your stats are there. You know, you might be like 50 before your stats are there, and then you can pop on over to Insane, and you'll knock out level 60 super fast. It'll be crazy fast how it happens. You'll gain probably 2 levels every time that you're there. I'm gonna just level these up some more. And then once you're level 60, feel free to grind as much survival as you can stomach. Once you're in your 60s, which is what's required to even equip a legendary, you won't be finding gear upgrades unless you're in survival. That's just how it works right now, which is fine. It is the game. You need to survive all the difficulties. Alright, we're gonna stand here again. We're gonna lure them into their death. Look at that. My apprentice definitely needs more power. Well, I do know why we're on my Huntress, because she's my damage hero. However, by being on her, her traps are doing, I think it's 15% more damage, 20% more damage, something like that. And in a way, the other characters towers are nerfed by 15%. There's a way to think about it, but whoever you're playing gets a damage bonus on their towers or traps or whatever they have. So keep that in mind, especially as you're leveling. I would just stay on my apprentice a lot because my tower is really strongest thing I had, which is perfectly fine. It helps to primarily gear one unit and gear them a certain way than to try and gear all of your units at the same time. Because you won't have as much gear to spread around when you're early in the game. Anyways, that is some of my tips. Oh, here's a bonus tip. Your C on your Huntress is an insane DPS buff. You gain attack speed, you gain movement speed, you gain jump height, and like the attack speed is insane. Like, it's gotta be double. It's gotta be double. That's our bonus. The Squire's C ability lets you spam your right click. Not the Squire. The Apprentice lets you spam your right click. Your Squire gives you a DPS buff, and the Monk is able to drop a tower buff using his C ability, which is very good. Don't forget about your abilities. The Huntress buff is particularly good when you're using her for a DPS hero. Does not affect your traps. The Propeller Cat that I'm also farming here also does not affect traps. It's supposed to be just your hero damage and your hero's abilities. So do be aware of that. Do we have him chasing us? No. Oh, we have that one chasing us. Come here, big boys. Alright. Just come here and die. I'm gonna level up these towers. I might end up switching to my Apprentice to do the rest of this so that my towers do a little bit more damage. As you can see, my character's real depressed right there. She needed to get her healing on so she could get up and do things. Last bonus tip, make sure to set up your loot filter. It's right here in your auto loot. I'm only concerned with legendaries and all of this stuff right now. So the pets, brooches, masks, bracers, and shields, they all ignore quality, so if it's white, which pets are all white at this point, if it's white, it'll still get picked up, and only the legendary gear will get picked up. Otherwise, everything will be auto-sold, which is amazing because it gives us more time and more money to upgrade all of our gear. That's what it's really all about. I don't even know what he's fighting over there. I wonder what he was fighting. Also, use your tab menu. It's your map. Tells you where your treasure is, tells you where enemies are, tells you everything. I thought I saw a yellowy looking item here. Oh. Anyways, I'm going to switch to my Apprentice. He's going to hang out right here. And we're going to finish this off. I'll see you guys later. I'm Dash Brandon. Bye bye.